Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James. Arvin just very kindly managed to tip half a glass of water over me, so if that's visible from down there, I just want to assure everybody it's not nerves. So there's a theme developing here, connect the dots. eGain Solve is about connections. It's about connecting you with your customers through the various channels. It's about connecting your agents with customer solutions through knowledge. And it's about connecting customers with solutions through self-service and virtual assistants. So I'm going to talk a bit about how you can connect even more dots with analytics. The first way to do that is to ensure that you have connected analytics across all the channels of customer contact. So across the various ways we have to interact with our customers today, there are many, many different channels of customer contact. So we've got voice, both self-service and agent-assisted, all the digital channels, SMS, messaging, chat, SMS, all of those things, and even mobile apps and websites. So bringing those all together is key. And there's lots of different types of data that we can harvest from all those different sources. Structured data and unstructured data, so things like records of interactions versus the contents of a chat. And there's different things that we can derive from that data. So some of it is inferred. Like we could look at a chat and say, well, what is it that this customer's really asking us? What are they trying to talk to us about? It's stuff that we can observe. So, hey, we've seen this customer twice this week about the same thing. We failed first contact resolution here. And then there's declared types of data. So that's where we really tap into the voice of the customer through surveys and direct customer feedback where they tell us about how we're performing. So it's important to bring all those different aspects together to get the complete picture. Now, those pieces of data can be siloed in different places around the organization. Some of it within the enterprise, some of it within the cloud. It might be eGain Cloud, it might be someone else's cloud, but that data's spread out. So bringing it together in a cohesive manner, in a way that's sequenced and we can make sense of it, again, is really important. And it may be online data or offline data. So I've even got customers coming to me at the moment and asking, hey, can I bring white mail into this picture? So they're still using traditional post to contact their customers, as well as all the digital channels and the voice and the telephony. So there's lots of different ways to bring all this data together. But if you do invest the time and effort to pull that data together into a single cohesive picture, then it can really start to pay dividends, and you can really start to leverage it to get insights about your performance and truly how successful you are in terms of your interactions with customers. So we collect the data together. We've got a single data repository across all of our customer interactions. It's no use unless we can connect it with our people and they can use it to drive their behavior and drive their decisions. So to do that, you've got to make sure that you can put the right data in front of the right people at the right time. So all those different roles and different specialties within customer contact have different needs. And we need to serve it in different ways. So if you think about the typical roles in a contact center, you've got your agent who might need context about the customer and the customer history that they're dealing with. The supervisor who might need to know what are their specific agents and their team and the people that they're responsible for, what are they doing right now so I can keep an eye on them and make sure things are ticking over. You've got schedulers who need to understand how we're resourced, how we're performing in terms of our expectations. Do we need to move things around to stay on top of things? You've got analyst teams who really need to look at the whole big picture in order to understand trends and what's emerging and what's changing and learn things from the data. So all these different consumers, you need to put this data in their hands in a way that they can consume it easily and get value from it. And those people will have different demands in terms of the frequency they need to access that data and how long they can wait for it. So if your supervisor's needing to know exactly what are my agents doing right now, they need real-time data, up to the second almost. Whereas maybe the analyst who's looking to spot, deep trends across over time can wait a little bit longer to process that data and mine it to really get some information out of it. Equally, it's important to serve that data in the right medium. So again, on the floor, people might need to look at, a nice visual, high-level dashboard that tells them what's happening right now. Versus, an exec maybe doesn't even need to log into analytics, doesn't want to log into analytics, doesn't know how to log into analytics. But they might want to get a summary of performance at the end of the day emailed to them in their inbox in a way that's digestible. Equally, your analyst, they might need to really get in and get down and dirty with the data and start slicing and dicing and really exploring it. So there's different modes of interaction with the data. You need to cater for that. But the important thing is we're dealing with a single source of the truth here. So we've collected our data together into a single analytics platform. Then we're able to meet all of those needs in a way that suits the needs of each individual role within the contact center in a way that's consistent. And that's really important when you're trying to kind of stitch together a consistent story across the enterprise. And the thing that's really exciting me at the moment about analytics is, connecting other systems within the contact center to the analytics platform. So it's not just people that can get value out of data. So I think you should leverage analytics in as much areas as possible across the contact center, whether that's proactively or on demand. So, an example of what I mean by proactive there might be the analytics system itself automatically pushing out changes to the contact center based on things that it's seeing. So, for example, balancing resources or moving allocations of resources around different areas of the business to respond to changing demands throughout the day. Equally, other systems can call in to take advantage of the data that we have. So for example, you might have an IVR system that calls in to get customer context or some information about the customer to present a personalized service. So an example of that, the other day I phoned a car rental company and I'm in the middle of a complaint with them. I won't get into the details of that because it's just a horrible story. But essentially, this was the second time I called them and the IVR said to me, hey, you called in the other day. Are you calling about the same thing? I said, yes. And what they were able to do was kind of cut out the multiple levels of menus, basically got me straight to where I needed to be. Soon I was talking to an agent. But essentially, they removed the need for me to navigate through multiple levels of menu and delivered me a personalized experience just on fetching a little piece of data about the fact that I'd called them a few days earlier. So if you think about the kinds of rich customer experiences that you can deliver if you're leveraging the data that you have, the possibilities are quite limitless. And you can use that data to automate decision-making, as I said, and to automate many other micro loops and things that kind of take place within the contact center. So those are my top three. Kind of just to conclude, really, I just want to kind of say in terms of our analytics platform, kind of where we've got to over the kind of 4 or 5 years since I've been with eGain, and eGain acquired the Exony Analytics platform. So this is a Gartner slide. It's really how they talk about different levels of analytical maturity. So they talk about descriptive capability. You can see what happened historically, diagnostics, so why did something happen, predictive, more forward-looking and modeling, and prescriptive, so what should I do next? And if you think about mapping eGain's capabilities now across that maturity model, I think it's very encouraging that we can demonstrate, and we've got product proof points across that. So for the descriptive development, we have our digital and operational analytics. For that diagnostic, interrogative analysis and understanding of trends, we have our journey analytics capability. All that data that we sequence and store together forms the basis for our machine learning service, where we can start to build predictive models and start to do really more exciting forward-looking things with the data. And when we get to the prescriptive, you've seen our AI and guidance capabilities that, again, can be powered by data. And that decision automation, so that connecting other systems into our data so that we can automate decisions and automate those micro loops, that's under our service management, which is also part of our analytics capability. So those are my top three. Connect channels, connect all your data together, get that to people in a way that they can consume it easily and get value from it, and connect it to as many systems as possible to let them leverage the data, leverage the investment you're making in pulling this data together. You may or may not have seen some or all of this at the demo floor, but I encourage you, if you haven't, to stop by the analytics station and see some of the things we're showing and see some of this in action. Thanks very much. Have a great afternoon.